$254 on a day trade for the DOW, or on the DOW, I should say. What's going on, guys? Welcome on in for a recap. Here we are inside the TradeZilla dashboard. So this was a trade that I took. This took it was pretty quick. It was about a 25-minute trade. So I entered at around 2:04 p.m. and exited at around 2:29, almost 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. And we have a bull flag on the 5-minute time frame. Essentially, there's a trade breakout 5-minute time frame. I want to go through the details behind this because it was a little bit, I would say, not what I normally do. Like it is. Like this is absolutely the setup that I look for normally. But the time frames are kind of something that I said I would do less of. However, today was kind of a different circumstance, and I'll explain why. So, here's the trade. I'll get into this in a second, but let's back our way into let's paint the picture, okay? Let's paint the picture. Let's put the story. Let's get it all going here. So, big picture, you kind of got a massive dump going on. I'll go to the 4-hour time frame. It's a little bit easier to see on the 4-hour time frame. Just dump city. So Sunday night, my Eagles make it to the Super Bowl. Awesome. Just so happens that I've been to, in the past 3 years, the Eagles have been in the Super Bowl 2 out of the last 3 years. Not as good as the Chiefs. Hopefully we can take them down. We'll see. But I've gone to 2 live Eagles games in person. And out of those 2 seasons that I went to those 2 games, they only lost a couple of games. They lost like a handful of games, okay? Out of, I don't know how many games they play. They play freaking 17 games, right? So they lost a couple of games. It was like 5 games total out of those 2 seasons combined. And I happened to go to 2 of those losses, and both of those losses in the individual seasons that I went to were the worst performances by the team the entire year, by far. Not even close. Which is crazy that I just happen to be that. So if you're looking for good luck, do not ask me to come to a game for your team. I went to the Penn State semifinal game against Notre Dame. Lost that as well. I am on a terrible streak. I was thinking about trying to make a run to Philly for the divisional round. I did not, and luckily I didn't, because if I did, who knows what would have happened? Who knows? So I'm not on a hot streak for sports right now, in terms of my teams winning. But that said, it's a lot of fun. They are a lot of fun. Honestly, losing, winning, it's when you go to big games, it's fun. That's why, I really want to take my brother to an Eagles playoff game, hopefully next year, but we'll see. So that said, we got the games going on. I'm not thinking about the fucking stock market. Let's be real. Okay, I don't give a shit about the stock market on Sunday afternoon, but it comes to my attention at some point during the Bills game, Bills and Chiefs, or should we say the Bills and the refs, that the stock market is crashing. And I'm like, oh, okay. Why? And apparently, this DeepSeek AI from China is about to just take over everything, and all the AI US companies are fucked, essentially. That's what it sounds like. I don't know. I don't give a shit, to be honest with you. I really don't. I really don't care. But that's the headline. Everyone's screaming about it, whatever, yada, yada, yada. Oh, then there was this was it Columbia? Columbia, I think. This issue, I don't think that was maybe that had a small, I don't know, whatever. So all that stuff I check the news streamer. I go, okay, cool. I don't really think too much of it. I think, okay, we'll wake up tomorrow morning and see what happens. I wake up tomorrow morning, which was this morning, and not only were we down a little bit more, we were down a lot more. So going to bed last night, what are we thinking here? We're somewhere in this ballpark on the NASDAQ. We're somewhere down in here. So we're down, but not that bad. Down 1% or 2, nothing crazy. Okay, it's decent, but okay, news can do that. Lower volume because of, Sunday night trading. Fair. We'll see what happens come the open. And come the open, well, we did bounce back, but, into that early wee hours of the morning, we had even more sell-off. So really incredible move to the downside on the NASDAQ. I think at one point it was down 5%. So that paints the picture. So now we're like, oh, shit. This is a situation where I've talked about in the past that, I'm not going to try to trade the 5-minute time frame very much because the data tells me not to do so from last year or the past, year and a half. It just tells me not to do so. That's the point of tracking your trades with TradeZilla. Code TC10 saves you 10%. Whether you care to use it or not, or you track your own shit, doesn't matter to me. Save money if you don't want to pay for it. If it's not worth it to you, don't pay for it. I mean, I pay for it. They haven't given me a free subscription just yet, but whatever. Maybe one day I'll have enough people click on my link that they'll be like, oh, we'll give you a free subscription because you're making us more money. Maybe one day. I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me. I guess it does and doesn't. You know what I mean? But okay, so all that aside, you know, the data tells me one thing. I'm gonna listen to it. But I'm going to approach this year with this discretionary back pocket. Like if I gotta pull it out, like I got it in the back pocket when we have high momentum days. So big news types of days, big trending days. These are days of interest. It piques my interest. Does it mean that we're going to get a trade? No. But it piques my interest, and if we happen to line up on the bigger time frames, smaller time frames, give me a setup that I'm looking for, give me a level I'm looking for, give me some relative strength or weakness that I'm looking for, we get it. Great. Will we get it? Who knows? Today, we got it. Because sometimes this will all line up, and then you just won't get a setup, and that's certainly possible as well. You'll get all the move happens in pre-market or after hours, which if I'm not watching or trading during those times, which I'm mostly not, but if I am, cool, I'll be there. If I'm not, then I'm not. And then I'm not going to mess with it, you know, because during the day it might just go flat. We might just chop. And that has happened so many times where you get these massive moves and then market opens and it's like, I'm like, oh, that's cool. You know, all the move happened in the after hours, you know, or the pre-market or overnight, whatever. So how did you get to the DOW? Like, where did the DOW come in? So, okay, I'm going through and I'm saying, okay, like, let's just jump back to the ETFs. So here's a SPY ETF. We can easily see this massive gap down in SPY. Like it's up from the open today, but it's not up a lot. You know, it's still down nearly 2% on the day. So there's SPY. Here's QQQ. So I'm kind of just going through, not as good, right? Like this is, you know, I mean, now you're getting, that's a pretty, you know, gross looking candle, right? We had opened up here, had a nice push up, and now we've come back. It's like, now we're closing near a low a day. Well, we got about an hour to go till close. So it's like not great. So we go, okay, QQQ, not really giving me much here, right? Because like, where is it? Is it near relative highs? Is it near relative lows? No, it's kind of like in between. So I don't want to play with that. Okay, but then I jump over to the IWM, the Russell. At one point, the Russell today, it's near relative high, but it then falls off a cliff. Not off a cliff, but it falls back. No interest. And would it be interesting here? Probably not, but maybe there would have potentially been a setup there. I think it's possible. And then I go, okay, what about the Dow? Yes, Nana. There's a big red bin. Yeah, that if that's what you want, yeah, that's probably good. Okay, bye. Okay, so I look at the Dow next, and I'm immediately yo. This does not look like its peers, clearly. So I go relative strength, boom, we're potentially in business. Now, did I really care to play that? I don't know. I just happened to check out the charts at around 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Kind of random, right? I don't know. Some days I'm not home. Some days I'm working on something else. Some days I'm at the gym. I don't know. Sometimes I'm not here during these hours. But I just so happened to sit down and I was like, let's take a peek. And I go, whoa, like the Dow, completely different chart. Clearly relative strength and lots of volume. So I go, that's a very interesting sign. Now I zoom it in. Just out of curiosity. Do we have something there? Maybe there's something here. And I go, oh, we do. We had this high established, pulled back, higher low in the overall bigger picture trend. Okay, cool. Bigger time frames also trending to the upside, right? We align pretty well with that. We got some good volume, relative strength off the open. Interesting, cool. We now have an area right here of consolidation. Exactly what I like to trade. Right at a prior high with trend in your direction. And at the same time, a pretty big key level that was the prior high from a couple days back on the Dow right here. Was that the all-time high? No. The all-time high on the Dow was a little bit higher. That was made back in December, but close. So the highs from, I think, like last Thursday. So I mark that high off from last Thursday. And then I mark off the area of consolidation that I'm looking for it to break right here today. And I pair up the charts. They make sense to me. I then wait. I did not get in like right on the beginning of this candle. I waited a minute. We had clarity on the volume. So if you look to the bottom, we have a higher burst in volume. Great. On the break. And then I put my stop loss below the bottom of that consolidation. Once we moved on this candle into our direction, or the predicted direction of the trade, then what I did was I moved this stop loss. So the original trade ended up being about a 1.5 or 1.6 to 1 risk reward roughly. I moved this right to the bottom of the breaking candle. So then it became about a 2 to 1 risk reward at that point in time. That was a little bit of an adjustment. And then once we made it more than halfway to our target, so somewhere on this candle right here, I think like somewhere up in this ballpark, I moved my stop loss again up to break even so I couldn't lose on the trade. That's kind of standard procedure, standard protocol. And you know what? I'll tell you guys something here. I've been noticing that we hit our target, nipped the target pretty much, and then seemingly consolidated and reversed. I've had a couple of these lately that have seemingly, my target has seemingly been, and I'm telling you right now, where is my target? Like, is it a super key? Like, am I looking super technical? Not really. Like, let's mark this off here. Let's draw on a horizontal line. Where does that put us at those all-time highs or close to it? No, kind of right in the middle. No, not really. I mean, right in the volume node, I guess. Yeah. So like my targets that I've had have been, I mean, in hindsight, pretty good on the past. If you go back to the past couple winning trades, we've seemingly reversed shortly after the targets have been hit, which is kind of cool, I guess. But that's a trade. So, you know, kind of a bunch of things packed into one. Maybe it's going to build a higher low here and go higher. You know, we'll see. It might. The trend is still pretty strong to the upside here, to the, you know, so it looks pretty good. Maybe that wouldn't even matter, but that's really the deal. So, you know, it was a day where we had high volume. You have movement, you have relative strength, you have bouncing back off the lows. You have a pretty big divergence in, like, Nvidia, for example, is down 17% on the day. Like, this thing is getting destroyed, right? Apple, for whatever reason, was super weak the past couple of weeks. Apple's up 4%. I don't fucking know why. I mean, I guess I could try to spin a narrative, but do I care? No, it really doesn't matter. I don't fucking care. I don't care why. It doesn't matter trading wise. I don't care. It doesn't matter. To some people it might. To me, it doesn't matter. So, like, you know, you got a lot, like, you kind of got things going in different directions, but Apple, pretty big weight in the NASDAQ, big weight in the Dow, big weight in the S&P. It's big weight everywhere. Apple's trending up. I go and I look around at other Dow stocks, for example, Home Depot, which I traded recently. I go look at Home Depot's chart. I was like, I wonder if it's going to give us kind of a false breakout potential opportunity. No, this never really kind of broke the consolidation. Tried to give us a false breakout, but then it kept going. Would I trade that? No. This doesn't make this is I drew that in as an idea, but I wouldn't trade that situation because why? You have a bigger time frame going against your idea. I would only trade that if we had a big day, false breakout opportunity, and Home Depot was going down inside of a downtrend. You can't make that. I can't argue that in the 1 to 1 day time frame, this is a downtrend. It's an uptrend. And I zoom out even further, it's a stronger uptrend. So I can't argue that on the short side. So there's no shorts to be had there. I just, you know, there's none. So when you kind of back your way into like why the Dow, you look at stuff like this and I go, yeah, I mean, you're getting the opposite across the board. Like, you know, when Home Depot is doing, you know, breaking out and going, looked like it was going to be a false breakout for a second here, but it's breaking out and going. It's got your support behind the Dow. You're looking pretty good. So looking at the relative strength, the overall market trend, great. If you jump out and say, well, what would you have shorted? You know, wouldn't you think that, you know, a big, you know, negative downside news day could have been maybe an Nvidia or an AMD could have been. I can look at those charts in a second and see maybe those could have been short opportunities, but inside of the Qs, like look at the NASDAQ, would I want to short this? No. Look at this is not an area that I am interested in shorting. But you break down below here, now you can establish the downtrend. It's a little bit cleaner. Yeah, you have something to be said. You're still fighting against a much larger picture. Sorry, back to Qs. Much larger uptrend, yeah. But at least you have a downtrend in your favor over the past couple of weeks if you're breaking below here. You know, so like that's kind of the how my brain works, you know. So that is the trade recap. Again, 254, 253.86 after fees or whatever, commissions, or was there fees here? Yes, 14 cents in commissions. Cool. Oh yeah, so let me pull up that account, by the way. This is the account. Let me see if I'm in the way. I might be in the way. Yeah, I'm in the way. We're at $26,729.97. Currently, no positions open. I don't trade this account very much. Here's the entry, arrow, exit arrow. You can see. I don't trade this account very much because I mostly trade stocks. But when I don't trade stocks, if I play the Dow, S&P, NAS, Russell, or I guess just Dow, S&P, NAS, or gold, silver, oil, Bitcoin, I'll play it in this account. But that's really the deal. So, yeah, that's it. We have also downside watches on oil, which is getting pretty weak. Bitcoin, we'll see what happens. I do have one position open still on a long stock trade, but I've moved my stop loss to break even, so I can't lose on it. I might even cut it at the end of the day today. Depends on what closes. So we'll see. The next 45 minutes or so, I'll make that decision. But thanks so much for watching. Again, TradeZella, link below to save 10% or discount code. I think you have to enter the discount code. I think. But if you're gonna ever use them, save money. I'll see you guys in the next one. We're still down $500 on the month, but we haven't really had a lot of trades, so, win rate is pretty shite. I'd say to be down $500 with a win rate like this is pretty good in my opinion. But we'll see how the rest of the month goes, another couple days, and then into next month. Like I'll make the monthly recap, but like it's tough to go month to month because you just don't know what's gonna happen. I can't tell you when I'm gonna have a lot of trades, not a lot of trades. We're gonna have winning streak. I don't know. I can't tell you. All I can just monitor is the bigger picture, which so far so good. Peace. See ya.